Welcome back to another episode of STEM in Stilettos. This is your host, Zofia Morales, and today I am joined by the amazing and wonderful Kristin Zhivago. So if you are a female tech founder looking to take your business to new heights, but are finding it challenging to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of customer buying behaviors, revenue growth strategies, and all of the financial moving parts that go with a startup business, you are in the right place. Today we are discussing breaking barriers, elevating revenue, and gender equality in tech. And my guest today, Kristin Zhivago, is the founder and president of Zhivago Partners, a revenue growth services company. She's spent decades as a revenue coach, helping company owners and CEOs increase their sales by making it easier for customers to buy from them. She's the author of Roadmap to Revenue: How to Sell the Way Your Customers Want to Buy. Zhivago is one of the leading experts on customer buying behaviors, having interviewed thousands of customers for hundreds of companies. She and her team help managers remove barriers to the sale and also take advantage of new opportunities, all of which are identified via a revenue growth audit. She started her career at the age of 17 as the first woman to sell machine shop tools, and that experience made her vow to learn everything she could about technology and marketing, and she's been doing that ever since. Welcome to the show, Kristin. I'm so excited to have you here with me.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I love talking to women who are playing in the quote-unquote man's world, and I love that you started by selling machine shop tools.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you came into that and the impact that it had on you and how you approached life and business.
Well, that was early senior in high school kind of territory. And I was working in a machine shop as like a secretary, receptionist kind of person. But the owner thought I had potential, and he sort of helped me. He gave me a catalog.
Okay.
And he said, honey, you just wear a mini skirt. You'll be fine. This is way back.
Yeah, exactly. They'll take the appointment and probably sign anything you put in front of them.
So I did door to door. I went to all the little machine shops that were in the San Diego area. And there was one in particular that just changed my life. I went in, they shut down the machine shop, because what was a girl doing in there with a miniskirt with a Pratt & Whitney catalog?
Exactly.
And everybody came out. They were standing behind the receptionist desk and looking around,
What is this amazing creature that has arrived in our shop?
Yeah, we've never seen this before. And the old guy who was running the shop said, well, why are you here? And I told him I was here to talk about Pratt & Whitney machine shop tools. And he said, well, okay, tell me how your drill bit is better than the one I'm using now. I was a catalog and put on a mini skirt.
I got no idea.
I had no answer for him. And when you're a senior in high school, you're at the top of the heap at one of those points in life when you're actually at the top of a heap.
Yes.
But then you go to college and it all changes. You're at the bottom again and all that. So I was very embarrassed. And not only that, the guy who gave me the catalog said, oh, you're going to make $3,000 a week. I mean, I was so naive.
Promise.
I went up, big promise. I went up to the Fiat dealer and looked. I was in this old Chevy and I drove up there. Anyway, I didn't make enough to pay for my gas. It was a disaster. But when I walked out of there, before I got in my old car, I said to myself, I want to learn everything I can about tech and selling and never be embarrassed like this again. And I've been doing it ever since. That's what got me started. And I ended up in Silicon Valley. I spent a number of years there as a headhunter of engineering people. Always been a bit of a tomboy. Was not somebody who spent a lot of time on my nails and my hair. I just was out doing things all the time. So I learned. I got involved in tech early on. I mean, this is way back when the PCs were first coming out.
Yes, when you had to know something in order to run one because you had to assemble the parts and make sure it all played well together.
Oh, it was terrible. I got one of the first portable computers, was an Osborne. It was about the size of a sewing machine.
I was going to say portable. It was all relative.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it
they
had
were
a little
heavy.
Screen this big.
Yep, and little tiny screen and a keyboard
green letters
and
on
big
the
old
black
case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it couldn't even show a whole string of a single line of the text of whatever you were writing.
Yeah.
So you'd write 4 inches across, then you'd have to get your cursor to move it over a little bit so you could finish that line. I mean, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I took it on an airplane to Comdex, and it was heavier than my suitcase.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah. They weighed
yeah.
a ton.
Oh, it did. Anyway, so I was there all through that, and it was a very, very dominated by male environment, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
So I decided I was going to wear a suit and tie. I wore a skirt, but I wore a suit and tie because I started my own business when I was 28, and I wanted them to take me seriously.
Yeah.
So I did that for a number of years until it wasn't necessary anymore. And it was helpful because you'd walk into a room and there wouldn't be any doubt that you were there for business.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
one of the
Then there
things,
wasn't any question of, are you the secretary, right?
yeah, that's exactly right. So clothing
Yeah.
does make a difference, by the way. And I know everybody looks wonderfully sexy in the movies and everything, but if you really want to be taken seriously, the first impression is really important. And there shouldn't be any flag saying I'm here for something other than business.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just the way it is. I mean, this is human nature. We have to go with what's real, and that's a real thing. And it gets it out of the way right away. When I came in my suit and tie, they were like, okay, well,
There
I
you
guess
go.
she wants to
That's
be
what she's
serious.
doing.
Yeah. So,
She's doing business. I'm curious. I want to rewind to that tool shop day.
mm,
What was the conversation you had with the gentleman who said miniskirt and catalog and you're good to go? What,
well, I
how
went
did
back.
that play
He
out?
was a nice guy, and I made some more sales calls. I tried. He never really offered to give me the kind of training I needed. And again, I was 17. I mean, the
Yeah,
jobs that I had before that were very minor, waitressing at Denny's and things like that.
right.
So it just, I wasn't aware of how much you needed to know to answer that guy's very legitimate question. That was the main thing. Why would I even be there if I couldn't say that?
Yeah.
My first question, my first response to him, if I knew what I know now, I would have said, well, I can't tell you that until you tell me the kind of drill bit you have.
Yes.
And then I would either say, I'm not familiar with that one, I'll look it up and get back to you, or just say, if I really knew, and we didn't have the internet back then, don't forget,
Yeah,
I
and
would have to do a
Google
lot
it
of
quick.
studying for that
Yeah,
question.
yeah, exactly.
But you can't be a salesperson and not know what you're talking about. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or do you have a really long uphill row to hoe?
hmm
So, where did you go from the tool shop?
I ended up being a headhunter, as I mentioned, in Silicon Valley for about 5 years. I met 5 to 10 engineers every day. And then I also went to the companies where I was placing them. And we
Mhm.
had a 3 month full fee guarantee, which nobody else in the industry had. And we did very well. It was a very good training for me. The great part was that I was able to ask these engineers about their technology, and I'd go to the
Mm.
companies where they made it. This was like feet on the street learning. I mean, I was right there. So I really became fully knowledgeable about how computers were made and just the ins and outs. And then, of course, the software industry started growing. My husband and I opened a high-tech ad agency in 19, oh golly, I don't even want to say, but at the end of the 70s, early 80s, long time ago. And we did that for about 12 years. He was an engineer, but he was also an artist. And so he did all our graphics work, and
Oh,
I did
nice.
the words and the customers. Really did well. I mean, because my husband was a process freak, I really learned how to place a month's worth of advertising, millions of dollars of advertising for clients in 20 minutes over each month because of this, what turned out to be a spreadsheet, but on paper,
Yeah.
where if there was a blank square, I still had to do that thing. So that was really a big part of what happened to me afterwards. So in 1991, the Mac came out.
Yes.
And I looked at my husband and said, they're all going to take their work in house. So you may as well retire. He was 52, and he did. And he ended up making all kinds of things, boats and tools and speakers. And they were always, well, as a matter of fact, these behind me are speakers that he made.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Yeah. And he was always, it was functional, but beautiful. He
Yeah.
was really good at that. So anyway, he had fun the rest of his life. It was
I was
great.
going to say they'd have liked him at Apple.
Oh no, it's a little bit too, I don't even know what the word is. It's not steampunk, but it's something, it was unique to him. Anyway,
Yeah.
he retired and I reinvented myself. I said, okay, they're going to need help in-house, so I will become a revenue coach. I made an industry for myself because I knew CEOs cared about revenue.
Yep.
I knew they didn't care if it was sales or marketing. They just wanted to grow the money coming into the company.
Exactly.
So I called myself a revenue coach and I started doing department sales and marketing department turnarounds for companies of all sizes, all the way from little entrepreneurial shops up to IBM. I worked for them for about 12 years, consulting off and on. Went around the world teaching copywriters and wrote all of the instructions for the marketing people and things. I was quite involved for a while. And then around 2014, one of my clients and I were looking around the market and saying, you know what, there's a lot of established companies who have good products, good companies, good people, everything, but they are losing the digital marketing war.
Yeah.
So we opened an agency. We parted company in 2017. Our philosophies were just too different. And
Right.
I started Zhivago Partners as a digital marketing agency.
Yeah,
Excuse
and
me,
that was
but we've
after like the penguin and the panda shakeups.
yeah,
Because you
yeah,
could kind of DIY your digital marketing for a while, and then it was like all the
yeah.
rules are
No,
gone.
you're right. You're right. Google
Yeah.
was changing its algorithm 8 times a day. They had 200 different criteria. It was hard work. I opened the agency and we've done very well, but AI came along last year.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is sweeping through my industry and killing off digital agencies. I mean,
Uh,
honestly, it's
I'm
just
I'm
wiped out
sure.
an industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been immersing ourselves, having always been at the tip of the spear for tech. My whole company has changed what we're doing. We're still doing digital marketing, but first, we're doing what we call a digital revenue growth assessment. You said
Right.
audit. That's fine because that's what we were calling it about a month ago, but we've changed it to assessment. And it consists of the reality check customer research that I've done for decades, where I interview customers and find out. Now, this is really key. The only thing you really need to know about your customers, I mean, you put personas aside, you talk about
Yeah,
relationship
all of
marketing,
the demographics
stalking
and
them, yeah,
yeah.
with AI and everything. None of that matters. None of it as much as knowing their mindset when they set out to buy. Why did they
Mm,
buy from you? And how did they buy? What were they thinking when they bought your product? Because it's very specific.
yeah.
That's what you need to know because then you can duplicate those sales. You can reverse engineer those sales, that buying process. My book is all about the buying process. I was one of the first people to recognize the buying journey versus
Yes.
the selling thing.
Exactly. To get the funnel and dump them in there, and hopefully they go through the messy middle and come
Yeah,
out the bottom as a customer. Yes.
exactly. As a customer, when we put on our buyer's hats, we know what I'm saying is true.
Yeah.
We know what we want when we set out. So our mindset is always, it always is consisting of three things.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to put a pin in this because we're
Yeah.
just up on our first break.
All right.
And so we will return to the three things right after the break. I would like to invite you, dear listener, over the break, spend a little time with your pen, with your piece of paper, and think about all of the pieces you've got going right now around marketing and sales and acquisitions. And if the revenue growth hasn't been what you want it to be, let's take a moment to kind of capture what you've got going on right now. And then we will stack it up against the three truly important things when we get back. So hang with us.
Act loud, but we'll hear. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales. I am back with the amazing and wonderful Kristin Zhivago, who was about to share with us the 3 things that we need to know about a customer and their buying journey. And the rest of it is just noise. So tell us.
Yeah. All right. It's 3 things. It is their desires, their concerns, and their questions. And let's look at those one at a time.
Yes, let's do that.
Desires,
concerns, and questions.
what do you want? What do you need? What am I looking for?
Yeah.
And as buyers, we know how specific we are. I mean, I've been having my house remodeled for, oh golly, some years now, like 4 years, almost done. I've had to do a lot of buying.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of decisions.
And a lot of decisions. And I am just like all the other buyers out there. I know I want this rug to be 2 feet by 17. I want it to be a particular brand. I want it these colors and this kind of pattern. And then I go searching until I find exactly what I want.
Yes.
And buyers assume now, not just because of Google, which started this whole thing, but also because of AI and even Amazon, that they will, in fact, if they look hard enough, they will find exactly what they want.
Yes, exactly that thing I'm looking for. Yes.
Yeah.
And I generally start with those 2 places, Amazon and Google.
Well, ChatGPT is getting to be a very good buyer assistant. Really, really good. If you say, I'm looking exactly for this, where can I find it? What are the brands? Or if it's like a service, who provides this? Who has good
Right.
reviews? And you can just keep drilling down. They now have this little thing at the end that says, would you like me to make you a little info sheet for that with all their contact
Exactly.
information and everything?
Would
I
you
mean,
like that
honestly,
emailed to you? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. This is big. Okay. This
Yeah.
is a tsunami that has swept through. I mean, you thought Google changed everything. This is big.
Oh, this is hugely, hugely big. And I can see where marketing agencies are having trouble with this, because it used to be if you wanted a month's worth of content for your whatever it was, it would take you hours to make that happen. And now you can go into ChatGPT and have a whole marketing thing put together, laid out, all the content, graphics, the whole business
Yeah.
in 15 minutes, an
Or
hour.
less. Seconds.
Yeah. The
It's-
level of detail you want it to go to, right? You have the pathway and then you have to chunk down, but still.
I have to say, though, that now you've heard all the arguments about why AI isn't going to replace humans and all that. I have another argument. If
Yeah.
you're not interviewing your customers, and I'll tell you the other 2 things in a minute, but if you're not having someone for you, have a conversation with people who have already bought from you. They know what you did well. They know what the showstoppers were, and maybe they wouldn't have bought from you, but they decided to go ahead. They know who your competition is and why they bought you instead of them. They see trends in the market. They're
Yep.
keeping up on things and saying, oh, I wouldn't want that, but I would want this. You know, they know more about their buying process than you can ever know by any other method than just making an appointment for 30 minutes, open-ended questions. Most of them are in my book. On chapter 3, I tell you exactly how to do this. Okay, I gave it
Yes.
all away because I can't do it for everybody, and everybody needs to do it. There is no greater source of information. You'll pick up little things here and there, but you won't get that secret sauce. You won't get
Yeah.
the thing that made them say, that's the one I want.
Yes,
You're
it's
trying
you.
to figure that
It's
out.
you and your widget. Yes.
Exactly. And if you don't have customers yet, you talk to people who might buy. But the minute you start having customers, I think the beauty of this research, one of the things I love about it, and by the way, I've done thousands of these interviews for hundreds of companies. So I've had a lot of experience figuring out what works and what doesn't, why the
Yeah.
questions and so on. You only have to talk or listen to 5 to 7 people of a given type to get bankable information, and the phrases, the words and phrases that they used when they tried to find you, all of that stuff. That's all it takes.
Well,
So if you only have
5
one
to
type of customer,
7 is a doable number.
yeah, exactly.
Totally doable. I mean, you
Yeah.
can knock that out in a week if you get people
Yes,
on
it's
the
hard to
phone
get
with you.
appointments. That's the tricky part.
That's
You
the
have
tricky
to,
part, exactly.
if you have someone do it for you, I have my clients introduce me to their customers.
Yes.
So that I've been anointed by the business owner.
Yeah.
And then I make the calls. I have an assistant who sets up the appointment with the person, and then I make the calls. I record the calls. By the way, I tell them I'm recording because I can't type as fast as they can talk.
Yeah. And you want to catch the language they use.
That's right,
Yeah.
the special things. But I also tell them I'm going to anonymize their comments.
Yes.
So I have a section that says, here are all the answers that people had to this question. Clump, clump, clump,
Clump,
answer,
clump,
answer, answer.
exactly.
Okay. They then say, oh, good, I can say whatever I want. I don't have to be too polite. I can just let it out. And
Yeah.
they do. And I'm very careful. By the way, this is one thing that AI, if it ever gets good at it, I might be dead by then. Because here's an example. If somebody says, if I say, how was that? They'll say, it was all right, or it was good. AI would record, it was
It
good.
was good. Yeah.
Okay. I say, wait. That's not a resounding yes.
Yeah.
So where's the doubt? What? Oh, well, and now the customer thinks, oh, she heard me.
Yeah.
He actually cares what I think. And then so I've passed their little test. People are always checking if you care.
Yeah. Does this really matter to you?
Yeah. And they know the minute, I mean, the first thing babies learn is this person cares for me, that person doesn't. Like my great aunt, she pretends she cares for me, and she goes, oh, you sweet little thing.
And pinches your little
pinches your
cheeks and
cheek.
it hurts.
Exactly.
Come on, why would you do that to someone
Yeah.
you think is cute and sweet?
Exactly. So desires, we're now trying to figure out why they came to us and how they bought, why they bought and how they bought. Exactly what they were looking for, which probably isn't what we think, by the way. So many times the company would tell me what they think is important to customers, then I interview the customers, and the lists are very different. They might have items in common, but they're out of order. The customer says, oh no, this was the most important thing. Okay, so desires, concerns. Now, if you pass through the hoop of the desires, if they come to your site,
pause you just for a second. I want to kind of rewind for a second because you mentioned the anonymizing, and okay, now I can breathe and feel like I can really say what I'm thinking. If you're doing this for yourself as the CEO for a company, are you better off delegating it, or how do you frame it so that they feel like they can still have that clear, unrestricted?
Yeah, I wish I could say everybody can call their own, but my experience has been, and by the way, I have somebody on my staff do this for us because my clients like me and they don't want to hurt my feelings, and so they'll be very polite.
Yep.
And I've had customers for a client, I caught them just when the machine had broken down. My client's machine.
Oh.
I'm talking to the customer. It's a sweatshop in LA. It's a big cutting fabric machine. His whole business depends on it. And he's from another country, and he's just swearing every F word with a Vietnamese accent or something.
Yes.
Every single word. Oh, that effing thing. I said, wait. I have to get you on the phone with the CEO because he has to really hear how frustrating it is when this machine goes down and you have no business, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can go nowhere without it.
I got the CEO on the phone with this guy, and the guy was like, well, we seem to have a problem with this. So polite. And I was like, oh man, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So
You've got the recording.
Yeah, we did have the recording. And I'll talk about the way I present this data. Anyway, so we've got desires.
Yep.
We have concerns, and the concerns are once once they come to your site or whatever they see or social, whatever, and they say, oh, yes, they get me. They know what I want. That's hoop number one. Hoop
Yes.
number two is, yeah, but.
Exactly. What's the catch here?
What's wrong with it? What are the reviews?
Mhm.
What are the questions that they don't answer? And so
Yeah.
on. Amazon's brilliant, and they give you all sorts of ways to make it easier for you to buy.
Right.
And so you can ask another customer, what about this part? How do you assemble this? How big is it inside?
Yeah, exactly. You can put your question out there. It's like, yeah, what are the interior dimensions?
Exactly. Yeah. So those are their concerns. They've been burned before. There is no such thing, especially in B2B, but there's no such thing as a virgin buyer. Okay.
Yeah.
From the time you're 3 years old or earlier, you are assaulted with messages.
Exactly. And
by the time you're 30,
you will have some buyer's regret even before you
yeah.
get out of your teens. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're skeptical, you have concerns. So that's the next thing you need to do. You need to say, now, we know other people have said this, but here's how we make sure that that doesn't happen. And the steps we've put in place, the processes, the structure, whatever. Okay. So you have to prove to them that you understand their concern and you've addressed it. And by the way, your company has to do this. Okay.
Yes.
And we'll talk about promises in a second. Okay, so then the last thing on this, the mindset when they set out to buy is, okay, you've gone through hoop number one. You know what I want.
Yep.
You've addressed my concerns. Now it's time for me to continue the process. You've earned the right for me to continue my buying process. And I have very specific questions.
Right.
And your salespeople and everything on your website has to know what those questions are and then answer them satisfactorily.
Yes.
Okay. Now, that's the way it is. You have to understand the buyer's mindset when they set out to buy. But I want to go up one more level. So that's like 10,000 foot, 20,000 feet. Let's go to 35,000 feet now.
Okay.
Marketing is nothing more than marketers making promises on the company's behalf. So they're making promises the company is supposed to keep.
Yep.
If the company is set up so that it keeps the promises, great. You're going to sell. People will refer you. They'll give you good references and
Happy
reviews.
customers.
Yeah,
Life is
and
good.
it will
Yep.
perpetuate itself. I call that leverage. It's momentum that you build
Yeah.
yourself. Your customers will start selling for you. If you don't, well, guess what? You're going to lose customers. They're going to give you bad reviews. They're going to go on Amazon and say, don't buy this product. Look at what happened to me. The zipper broke the first day.
And it was such a struggle trying to get anybody, and nobody sent me a replacement, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. What's going to happen to me after I buy is one of the biggest questions no one ever answers in their marketing. Okay.
Exactly.
So the reason we're doing this revenue growth assessment these days is I'm putting my revenue coach hat to work and all the systems that we've built around this now and going to a company and saying, where are your opportunities and where are you stopping the sales process?
Yes, which is a really important insight to have. And it's a hard thing to know from the inside.
That's right. That's right. Nobody else is experiencing what the buyer's experiencing. So we map out the buyer's experience and we make sure that the promise that was made here is kept all the way through to shipping. I mean, if they get a box, a friend of mine just sent me a nice little miniature rose plant because yesterday or over the weekend, Saturday, was the anniversary of my husband's death. And she always honors it. And it's very nice of her. The box was completely smashed.
Oh, no.
The plant made it, and it's slowly like coming back to life. But I had to say, I thanked her very much. And she said, how was it when I got there? And I said, well, sorry to say, but
didn't look so good from the outside.
yeah, actually, I just took a picture so she could see it. And she said, ooh, that's not what the picture looked like when I bought it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you should see the box. She said, oh, take a picture of the box. I want to see the box. Because she goes to that company a lot, and they
Yeah.
kind of made up a box and taped it together. This is amazing, but CEOs and business owners often don't realize what happens at the receiving end.
Right.
And here you are. I mean, there's a cheese company makes the best cheese in these little containers, but when you go to peel off that cellophane thing,
Yeah.
it doesn't come off. I
Oh,
mean,
I
you can take
hate
pliers
that.
and try to peel it
And
off.
it won't peel off, and you got to eventually get a knife and like
Yeah,
hack
and you
your
get a
way in
knife and you
there.
go
Yeah.
around, and then there's this little stuff on the outside, which means you can't really use it as a good container because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So this stuff at the end of it, don't talk about the funnel. By the time they get the package or the service or whatever it is, and if you're not keeping the promise that you made in your marketing, you're not going to grow your revenue.
Yeah.
Period. End of
No matter
story.
what you do with your funnel,
Yeah.
it's not going to get that
Yeah.
traction, right? Because all you're doing is dumping more people into the system who are going to have a bad experience, who are going to amplify that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Which is why it's important to know you can deliver on what you're saying before you actually put it out there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So we are up on our second break, and I'd like to talk to you when we come back about what do we do if we suspect? What are some of the symptoms that we might be seeing that would lead us to suspect that maybe we need to do one of these revenue audits or assessments? And while we're at the break, grab your pen, grab your piece of paper, and write down where you're at with your revenue. Are you on track with where you think you should be? Do you think you should be farther down the road? Are you behind the curve of where you thought you would be? And spend a little time around what that reality is right now in your business, and hang with us. We'll be right back.
Oh, shout it loud, the world here. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales. I am back today with the amazing and wonderful Kristin Zhivago. And before break, we had talked about the 3 most important things you need to know about your customer's buying journey. And we had kind of brushed up against the fact that dumping a lot of traffic into your funnel might not be a good answer. It might actually make some things worse. What are some of the symptoms that maybe the thing that's missing is not more people in the top end of the funnel, but a better customer experience?
Well, this is why I always do the customer interviews first, because it helps me get quickly to where the problems are.
Mm-hmm.
If your shipping and your customer service department is letting customers down, and I helped introduce voicemail to the world back in the day, and I've regretted it ever since.
Do tell. Why do you regret voicemail?
Wouldn't it be nice if you called a company and and I'm being very sexist here, but some nice motherly sort of older woman answered the phone and said, how can I help you, honey? And, oh, yes, you need to speak to Bob. He's here. I hear him just about to get off a call, or I see that he's getting off a call, or he's going to be back in 5 minutes. I'll give him the message.
Yeah, we
and
will
she
hook you
takes
up.
care of you.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
She takes care of you. I have a book percolating in my head. I've written quite a bit of it, actually. It's my next book. It's going to be called Love, Leverage, and Logistics: How You and Your Company Can Change the World.
Yeah.
I have this life mission to bring humanity and comfort and caring back into business.
And I think this is kind of a trend that's starting to happen with
Thank
all
goodness.
of this machine personalization and that kind of stuff. We're starting to lose that human to human contact in a pretty significant way. In fact, I have a mentor his whole kick right now is the return to real.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's taking care of what
the
love
thing
is.
to do is the unleverageable thing, the real person on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who would be perfectly happy to work at home and answer your phones for you. That
Absolutely.
technology exists, okay?
Yeah.
So when I talk about love, And if I say the name of the book, oftentimes somebody will say, oh, that's sort of that touchy-feely stuff, and that's not what business is about. My answer to that is love is just taking care of someone else. That's all it is. You
Yes.
commit to the act of taking care of someone else. I mean, I did that. My husband went through 2 fatal cancers. The first one he got through, and the second one he didn't make it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of taking care of someone. I didn't mind for a second because I loved him. He was my
Yeah.
guy. You know, I was there. We were together 45 years. We were best friends. We were in love
Yep.
with each other the whole time. It was the right thing to do, and it felt good. And it helped me realize that that's what love is.
Yeah.
You just take care of the other person. You don't keep score. You don't draw lines and say, well, if you ever do that, if you leave the toilet seat up one more time, that's just,
Yeah, that's it. You're sleeping
Yeah.
with the dog.
Exactly. So that whole thing started working in my head. And then the idea that whatever we do has leverage. It creates momentum. So if we treat people badly, if we make it hard for them to even figure out how to get through voicemail hell to find the thing they want, to get the
Yeah.
answer, or their chat bot is scripted and really doesn't know the answer, and you know that already, and they take forever to get you to a
Yeah.
human. I mean, these are all barriers to the sale.
Exactly. And your
And-
chatbot needs to understand that when there are curse words, right? When someone's going live person, operator,
Yeah, agent.
something, it's time to just pass them to a real person.
Yes, exactly. And AI agents are better. We've built them
They're
for
getting
ourselves.
smarter. Yeah, exactly.
You build a private library in the background, and they only answer with your information, and they compose answers that are good, that are fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also have to check them. If you do email automation and they put an email together, we did a program, and there was an avionics company on the list.
Yeah.
And one of the emails went out and said, the AI composed it and said, I understand you're a wonderful avionics company. We have a lot of experience with avionics companies. And I had to stop the
Oh,
whole
no.
campaign because
Oh,
I've never
no.
worked with an avionics company.
No, this is a lie. Don't lie. No lying. I know
Yeah.
they like to call it hallucination, but AI really wants to make you happy and will make shit up in order to make you happy. And in fact,
Exactly.
I had a guy who was experimenting with some of the early like sales bots and this sort of thing. And again, he had to pull the plug on it because it was going way out there. It's like, we'll give you your first 90 days for free. And then you're it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Don't let AI make promises for you without
Yeah.
you checking, because man, oh man, they don't. That's the other thing I've been writing about later. They don't have a conscience.
Yeah, well, and there's no ramification to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they can say whatever they
there's no
want.
personal consequences. There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to be careful. Anyway, so
Yes.
voicemail.
Yes,
where was
smell,
leverage.
hell, yes, leverage and love.
And then
Yeah.
at the end, the bulk of the book is going to be about logistics, because I am very technical. I am system oriented, infrastructure oriented, and it's all about processes that people are they build the processes, they understand what the customer wants. I've been quoting Bezos lately because I ran across this quote of his. It really stuck with me. And what he said was, people are always asking me what's changing. And I think they're asking the wrong question.
Yeah,
I think they should be asking what isn't changing.
exactly.
And that's what he says he built all of his businesses on. And he said, when we talk to customers, they want it faster and
Yep.
cheaper.
Yep.
And he says, 10 years from now, if I ask customers what they want, they're not going to say, make it slower and cost more.
No, they're still
Yeah.
going to want faster and cheaper.
Cheaper,
And they're probably
exactly.
going to want customized as well.
Yeah.
And you want easy, and you want to know you're not going to be screwed over. I mean, thinking about some recent retail successes, Walmart was like the first people who are like, we'll just take it back. You know, is you don't have to have all these receipts, and we'll just take it back, right? And
Yeah.
Amazon has a super duper return policy, and like Chewy, for example, in the pet space, the same sort of way. It's like, we will make it right for you. I accidentally had ended up with a duplicated dog chow order, and it was like this really expensive specialized dog chow because my puppy had allergies. And I called him up and I'm like, you duplicated this. This is not in my budget to do 2 of these at a time. What do we do here? And they're like, okay, no problem. And I'm like, do you want to pick up? I didn't even open the other box. You can just come get it. They're like, no, just donate it. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. You can't ask for a better customer experience than that.
No,
Absolutely.
the companies that are doing it right are doing really well.
Yeah.
And they are taking care of their customers. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know why this is rocket science. I mean, people open
unlike some of these places, right? You'll order some of the cosmetic stuff is really terrible this way. You'll go order this special skincare routine thing and they want to put you on a subscription and then it's impossible to make it stop.
Yes.
It's like, in what world is this a good choice?
Yeah. No, that's right. You can't irritate customers into being your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And you can only keep me in what I want to say, subscription handcuffs for so long because guess what? I will go cancel the freaking credit card if I have to do it, but I'm going to have nothing good to say about you.
Yeah, that's right. This is where people lose their momentum because they keep filling the funnel, as you keep saying.
And then they wonder why it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
So some of the signs might be that you're not getting the ROI you want when you're filling your funnel. I would say that's a symptom.
You feel like you're putting out all this effort and you're not getting back. It's not happening, right?
Yeah, the momentum's not there.
And that's a big indicator. Also, another thing to do is something that I think was Dave Packard. It was either Packard or Hewlett from Hewlett Packard, where one of them retired and he got a note from an assembler at the bottom of the chain.
Yeah, exactly.
And she said, we're being forced to do X and it's really inefficient. And I just thought you'd want to know. He came back into the company, stopped being retired, turned the company around because of that one person. And he's the one who invented management by walking around. Because if you really do talk to the people and that interact with customers or do the jobs, they're going to tell you if you're a good boss and you don't jump all over them when they talk about it.
And shoot the messenger.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to tell you what's going on and you'll find those places that get stopped. But honestly, your customers are your first place because they are the ones who are experiencing it at the other end.
Yeah. They don't know the theory that went on in the planning meeting. They know the lived experience of what's actually implemented.
That's very good. Yes, exactly.
I love that. So we're getting down towards the end of our interview here, and you've got some amazing work that I'm sure there are people out there going, you know what? This revenue audit thing sounds like a really good plan. What are some ways that people can get in touch with you? Is there a baby step they can take? Can you do a little online pre-audit or what's available there?
The main thing is they can just talk to me. It's easy to find me. If you Google me the old way, I dominate because I've been out there doing things for a long time.
Well, and if you check the show notes, we will definitely have you in the show notes.
Yeah. And my website and all that. But there's a bunch of buttons on the site that say talk to Kristin. And I've always wanted to have a entrepreneurial call-in show, but entrepreneurs won't call in because they don't want to air their dirty laundry in public.
Exactly.
But I'm really good because of all the experience I've had at listening to what you're trying to accomplish. And even in the first 15, 20 minutes, I usually say, wait a minute, have you done that? Or did you check this? Or how are you doing that? Because I know companies that tried that didn't work. I mean, I've just been through a lot of experiences turning revenue around by removing those barriers to sales. So it's just something I love to do. And I don't mind being on a phone call with somebody for a half an hour or whatever and solving a big problem. And they may go away and get rich.
Exactly. We solved the problem. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also just take a look at our services. And yes, once we figure out where the problems are, then we help you solve them.
Absolutely. I love that. Because if there's one thing that I have learned at this phase in my life, it's like knowledge is amazing. Applied knowledge is what makes the difference. It's one
Absolutely,
thing to
100%.
know what it is, it's a whole nother thing to step out and do something about it.
Yep.
And if you're a really smart business owner, you will hire the expertise to solve the important problems for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
I
point.
love that. I love that. So, what is your most important takeaway? The thing that you learned as a business owner that's like at the top for you?
From the standpoint of helping companies with their revenue, there's absolutely no question that understanding what your customer's really thinking and what they say when you're not in the room, that's important. And it is all about the promises that you're making. I mean, even if you just go to your website and think to yourself, what are we promising? Just write down the 10 promises that you make throughout your site. And then say to your staff, how well do you think we're keeping these?
Yeah.
And then have somebody like me call your customers and verify and get that
And see
all
what the
of those-
customers really think. Right?
Exactly. And line
Yeah.
that up. And then you've got, once you line up with what your customers really want, it's so crazy, stupid, silly,
Simple, straightforward.
simple.
Yes.
You want to know what your customers are thinking? Don't stalk them with AI. Ask them. Just ask
Yes.
them, and they'll be happy to tell you.
Yeah. People like to be listened to.
Yeah.
They really
If
do.
somebody called you up tomorrow and said, you bought that skincare routine, how was it? Well, it was great until they tried to handcuff me to the subscriptions.
Yeah, and I've got like 100 million tubes of this stuff because I don't use it near at the rate you think I do.
Yeah, exactly. So just take that back, right?
Yeah.
We're too eager. We're like puppy dogs who are fresh out of puppy school and they haven't learned anything yet, and they're jumping all over people when they come in the door.
Yeah.
That's not what people want.
No, no. I want you to be happy, but I need my space.
Yeah, I want you to take care of me the way I want to be taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for coming and
My
joining us
pleasure.
today and sharing
Yeah.
all of this. I have things I need to go back and do now.
Good.
I've definitely got stuff on my checklist that I'm going to have to check off. And so I sincerely hope, dear listeners, that you also have a few things on your checklist that will help to move you forward. And I would love to hear about that. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. If you have people you'd like to see me discuss, if it's something private to you, whatever, you can send me an email to Zofia, Zofia, at steminstilettos.com. And I welcome all of that feedback because I'm doing this show for you. I want this to be a sound investment of your time every week, and this will help me achieve that goal. And until next week, go out, be bold, be beautiful, and be authentically you.